So joining me today for this interview is Andrew Shelley. Andrew Shelley is pleased to be here with you today. Andrew and I have just played, which we'll overdub in a few moments, and you can see the particular skill that we have distributed or demonstrated.
You do not want to watch it.
And then once that's finished, we'll come back here and we'll have a chat. So see you in a few seconds. Okay, Andrew, so here we are on court. How long have you been playing?
About 2 minutes. No.
And it shows.
I've been playing on and off since 1976.
1976.
But I only played a little bit in the summer when my football was cancelled then.
Oh, okay.
Since then it's always been football and squash until about late 80s.
And then, so were you a squash player before you became an administrator? Or
No,
after?
no.
Okay.
No, I'm still an undiscovered talent. I've never been a talent. I just play for fun.
Okay, and how often do you play?
Well, I'm home 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay, so do you travel a lot then?
Yes, all over the place.
I suppose you've had opportunities to have coaching or practice with the best players in the world.
I have occasionally been on court with the best players in the world before they realise how bad I am. But no, I've never been coached.
Okay.
I received perhaps the biggest put down from the national coach many years ago, Paul Wright.
Okay.
Who said, I like a challenge, but let's just play.
That sounds like Paul.
Yeah.
All right, so, I mean, when you are travelling, do you get to hit on those glass courts?
No, because the only people who are at events are very good players.
Okay.
And I play for fun.
All right, and there's no other administrators who you can hit with?
Somebody's grandmother who's never played before might be okay, but no, I just play.
All right, fair enough.
In about 5 years, I think. Okay.
You think you can?
Yeah, just give me a few years.
A few years more. And we're back. That was quick. Andrew, the SRA. Tell me, yes. I mean, how did you first get the job? I mean, what was your first job at the SRA?
Well, when I joined, which was 1976, dare I say it, there was very few people, and my job was to run all the tournaments, look after all the membership, all the affiliation, the whole works.
Everything.
Yeah, because there were only 4 of us. Yeah. By the 1980s it grew.
Okay.
By the time the lottery came in 1994, the time I'd actually left, it was 20 or 30 people.
Okay.
So it was a very small staff.
Okay, and you were basically doing almost everything.
Yes.
Okay.
But the SRA, as it was called in those days, had a policy of employing people totally unsuited to the work. And I had absolutely no problem. I only played squash a couple of times.
Okay.
When my football had been cancelled.
But your I mean, skills and abilities were administration. I mean, that was what you needed to do.
Well, the very first event I ran, I worked out why I'd been taken on, because when it came to the final, everybody wanted to watch.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I was there trying to prepare the trophies. Yeah, because nobody else was interested. Of course, I love watching squash as well.
Okay.
But it was amateurs in terms of volunteers, and
Okay.
they all just did it so they could watch the squash.
All right. And how long were you there for?
I was there for 18 years.
Oh, that's a long time. You must have seen some huge changes in the game in that time.
Oh, sure. I mean, it was before all glass courts. And the glass courts came in with black balls and then to white balls.
They were using black balls?
Sure, yeah. It was a normal wooden floor.
Really?
Then we got the dentist ball, as it was called.
Yes, I tested that.
Retro-reflected ball.
Yeah. Do you remember the whiz? It made this whizzing sound.
And of course, with the light that reflected back, you could make the ball as big or
as small as you wanted.
Of course, when it was big looking, it was very slow. It was as if it was ponderously going around the court.
Yeah.
And then in the middle 80s, the first coloured floor was used.
Okay.
Which was the French Open. The players weren't able to practice on it because they were still rolling it.
Okay. Was it green, wasn't it?
No, it was a blue floor.
Okay.
And the 2 players who I remember to this day were Ali Aziz and Frank Donnelly, were given this white ball. They'd never seen a white ball in their life.
Goodness.
Okay.
All right.
And you could hear their feet because it was still
stained. And the ball became green and blue.
But then we, for the British Open, started to do it. And I watched some tennis one night, and it was on a clay court. So I said to the guy who managed our court, I want that colour floor.
Okay.
So he said, well, what colour was it? I said, I don't know, I'm colourblind.
Okay.
He said, well, so am I.
Oh, goodness.
So we guessed some sort of terracotta. And then a few years later, I saw some tennis on a green carpet. This is what we want. We went through the same routine again.
Okay.
So I chose the colours, being colourblind of red and green. But we've had that ever since.
I remember hearing a story that the green was chosen because there was so much research that green was a nice relaxing colour because cricket, golf, snooker and football, and people were associated with the green.
Well, it probably was for other sports.
Okay.
But the green came literally from me watching some tennis.
All right, okay.
It's a warm colour, whereas blue's a cold colour.
Yes. No, true. All right, and what other sort of changes would you think about from the SRA times?
I mean, you're talking about every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
The courts then weren't even glass; they were perspex, plastic, if you like.
Yeah, plastic.
And they would smear and get scratched. And then it came to all glass courts. The lighting improved, the cameras have improved. In very recent years, through PSA Squash TV, the quality and consistency of the broadcast is great. And that, of course, is why we're able to bid for the Olympics in a way that's meaningful. We're ready now. We weren't ready before.
No, and I started watching some of those PSA videos, and I was just astounded at not only the quality, but the streaming quality as well, because you can record in high quality, but the streaming quality was fantastic.
Well, the situation before was you'd go to a country for a tournament, and they would get a local broadcaster, a local TV company, and somebody do it once a year. Now, it's the same team going to every event with their own equipment, with their own commentary, with their own graphics.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. It's like Formula One.
Yes. They know what they're doing at every time.
Very different.
And then you moved on from the SRA to WISPA.
Yes.
And
15 years there.
15 years there, yeah.
Nobody can get rid of me.
No, once you're there, they can't get you to resign. And again, huge changes, I suppose, with the female game.
Yes, and when I joined, there was the comment made that there were a few good players, and then it dropped away very dramatically.
Okay.
But during the 90s, the depth changed a lot. The girls, even then, were very professional, and indeed they integrate very well with sponsors, and promoters, and so they're a joy to work with. But the game changed, and eventually we went across to Pointer Rally. Okay. But we waited till the time was right, and the players were fit enough. And the tour went from strength to strength.
So did the girls change at a different time from the boys?
Oh yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
The boys changed in well, originally it was changed in about, give or take a year, about 86, 87.
Okay.
Basically because the games were far too long.
All right.
It didn't actually shorten them because it's a mental approach. If you want to play a long game, you'll play a long game.
You will, yeah.
So then there was discussion, well, maybe we'll shorten it for medical reasons.
Okay.
But then the tin went down as well. So with the combination of changing from scoring to 15, down to 11, 17-inch tin, the men's game is terrific.
Okay.
But the women don't need a 17-inch tin. The matches are not too long.
Okay.
So we as the women then and now play 19-inch tin as the members of the public do.
Okay, all right. So in a changing room, we were talking about a particular challenge for the women, which was to do with the medical aspect, and we were talking about the pregnant women. Were there any other particular challenges that were, just for women?
Well, yes. We were talking about somebody getting injured, and if you had a pregnant woman, you wouldn't want to go on court with her, even though she felt it was safe, in case you damaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, the women's game is clearly has some differences from the men. Just, for example, women get married and change their name, which is very difficult when you're a professional.
All right.
It's much less confusing if you just keep your same name
and
carry on. But beyond that, no, the women were a joy to be a part of.
Okay.
And they are consummate professionals at the top.
Yeah.
They're no different from any other top sports men and women.
And do you think that they get the same amount of coverage? I mean, when we compare, for example, tennis, there does seem to be a distinct discrepancy between the coverage that the women get and the coverage the men get. Do you think that's the same in squash?
Well, it is, but then more people want to watch men's sport. Frustratingly for the women, you can't bang on about equality without dealing with market values.
Yeah.
And whilst some events do have equal prize money, indeed in some events women have more, depending where they are. It's a matter of the market.
Yeah.
And we should be encouraging women's sport, and we should be giving it similar profile media coverage.
Yes.
But it's not there yet.
No. What about participation? I mean, I don't know if you have the figures to hand, and I certainly don't. But in the UK, how do we stand participation-wise between men and women?
I can only speak from historical because I'm not involved. But it was something around 75-25, depending on where you were.
Yeah.
In some areas of the country, probably, and other clubs, less or more.
Okay.
It's more difficult to have the similar number of women because it's more difficult for some to play. You know, they may be with children. They may have other reasons. But in this country, they're welcomed in the same way, and there's a huge number of people playing.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And then from there, after 15 years, they kicked you out, or you left, whatever. You went on to.
They found me out.
They found you out, yes. You went on to the World Squash Federation. And how long have you been there now?
Ooh, would it be about 3 years?
Oh, okay.
And they haven't found me out.
12 years to go at least. Okay.
Now, when I got the job at the SRA now England Squash, I said to my then girlfriend, subsequently wife, I'll just do this for a couple of years, then I'll get a proper job. She's still waiting.
Where's this proper job? And is the World Squash Federation the proper job?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, all right. So a lot of the viewers won't necessarily be professionals or county players. They'll just be regular club players. And the question they're asking is, so this guy runs squash, what does he do?
No, I'm just part of the administration. What he does is able to relate everything to the crack player.
Because he has experience.
Exactly, that's my game. No, I mean, when we played and you gave me the ultimate put down, have you been looking at a cricket match recently? I mean, I can take that.
Good.
No, I mean, the World Squash Federation, obviously, the members of the countries, we have a board that runs the show with committees and commissions, so we have a huge amount of talent. And of course you have to have an administration, and I'm part of that.
Okay, so I mean, what kind of things will be the day-to-day operations?
Well, if you take now, of course, the Olympic bid is, if you like, subsuming everything.
Of course.
Because as we sit here today, it's 2 weeks to go.
Yes.
And we're in the final throes of making that presentation in Buenos Aires. But ordinarily, we obviously deal with World Championships, coaching, refereeing, technical rules of the game, promotion, development, everything at an international level.
Okay. And you're coordinating with all of the national associations?
National associations and indeed the regions who, if you like, sit between national and the world.
Are there any national associations that don't belong to the WSF?
I mean, yes, well...
Maybe you can't name them, but...
No, well, I can't name them because I can't think of them. Okay. No, basically, there are 185 countries where squash is played.
Okay.
Of which 140 are members of the World Squash.
14 or 40?
No, 140.
Okay.
Either full members, or some of them are associate members because they're so small that it's of no value to them yet to be full members, so they're associate members through their regions.
All right.
And there are some countries where they're just a few courts in a hotel, or maybe one or two courts,
like in the Caribbean
where they don't even have a federation.
Okay.
So 140 plus. Not necessarily Caribbean is a strong.
Okay. I was just thinking you could send me to the Caribbean and I could look for those courts and convince them to join. Okay, so let's go back to the Olympics.
Yeah.
I really feel that you guys have done a fantastic job. I mean, back to bid, and we've got a lot of publicity. And I mean, what's it going to do for squash if we get the yes?
I prefer to major on what it'll do for the Olympic Games.
Okay.
Because we will bring something new to the Games.
All right.
Something different. They have racket sports, but not racket sports where both players are on the same side of the net.
Yeah.
So we'll bring something to the game, but of course it will bring something very special to all the players because it's the ultimate to play in the Olympic Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nicole David, the world number one, has said she'll give up her 7 world titles for 1 Olympic gold.
Wow,
and,
really?
And she's not joking.
No.
Most players are not even with a chance of winning it, but just to participate in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see this when they play in the Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, Pan American Games. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough multi-sport games in squash. So the Olympic Games is the ultimate. Of course, for national federations, it will mean more support for development of their elite players.
Okay.
Because they'll then be targeting participation in the games.
In the games.
So every level benefits. You only had to look at the media coverage from London 2012 to think squash could have had some of that.
I'm so disappointed we didn't get him for that. That would have made a huge difference.
You know, let's be realistic. In 2005, when it was decided who was in 2012, we did. We had a chance.
Yeah, we did.
But we weren't remotely ready.
Okay.
In the years up to 2012, we became ready.
Okay.
But if you'd been objective in 2005, it was a realistic decision not to take us.
All right.
Now, we've moved on now, we're ready, and somebody once from the IOC said to me, if the train stops, be ready to get on. Well, we're ready, we just want the train to stop now.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't want to ask any political questions, but I remember reading that the Olympics said that they wanted a new sport.
Yes.
And I'm confused because we have wrestling as one of the other two, the last two sports. So that seems a little bit strange to me, and I feel sorry for wrestling in the sense that I feel wrestling should be in the Olympics. But I wouldn't want to have to choose between them and us.
No, well, the way it operates is that the Olympic Charter allows 28 sports. There are 28 sports for 2016, therefore one has to come out if squash is to get in. And they've decided they would review all the sports, and one sport would be taken out of the core, and the short list of sports, which were 8 initially, would have a chance of getting in.
Okay.
They took wrestling out, which was a surprise to most people. Yeah. Although clearly wrestling has issues, otherwise it wouldn't have been taken out. No. But it was a surprise to most people, and now they have a chance of going back in with all the other sports that were on the short list. Now down to 3, 2 of which, wrestling and baseball, softball, have been there before. Okay. We are the only new sport. So if
you're listening, IOC,
if that's the ticket,
that's the ticket. All right. Yeah. And I'm hesitant to ask this question, but what happens if it's a no?
We have a thriving sport with professional tours. If it's a no, we have to think what the Olympics are missing, and look at getting it next time round.
Yeah, I mean
you have to be positive.
We have to keep trying. If we
squash doesn't live or die on the Olympics. It would be a great benefit for the sport if we got in. We get to the Olympics if we get in.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, let's finish on that positive note then. Done. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.